Hey y'all. So I was working on this video. It's a pretty long one. I'm planning on it being like a very minimally edited, long form sort of experience. It's about me playing some game, and I kind of started role playing because there's not really much you can do playing a single player game, by yourself, other than just like kind of slip into the role of whoever you're playing as. So I thought of this really funny bit for the video, uh, and I'll explain that to you as we go. So basically, I was thinking like this meter, right? It's a LARP meter. Of course it is, right? So and it'll go up, you know, percentage wise, as I start LARPing more and more. I thought that could be a funny idea. So I was like, well, how could I do this? And I was like, maybe I could code it. So, you know, just as a little fun exercise. It's a lot more effort, doing it this way than doing it some way in the actual editor. Cause I'm sure I could, right? But like, man, this is more fun. It's more fun to just get in and code something real quick. So, um, you missed me doing like literally two things. So I made the project. I use Godot for my all of my sort of coding ventures because it's just what I started using years ago, and well, now I kind of know the language, so it's kind of hard to, you know, move on from it. And not that I really need to. It has basically everything that I need in a sort of like game, making sense, or just like a coding in general sense for something like this. It's not a game, but it's just a little thing to code. So, yeah. But yeah, I made a few projects in Godot before. Uh, I've shown off at least one on the YouTube channel. Is the runner one. I think people know about that. But yeah, let's just get into it. So basically, all I've done so far is name the project, go into the settings, and then change the width and height of the viewport to 1920 by 1080, and then the mode to full screen. And I was just thinking, oh, okay, so if I'm setting the mode to full screen, then I'm gonna need a way to quit out the program. So that's why I made a global variable. I just created or not a variable. Sorry, my bad. A global script, and I just uh, I just did that. So now I go into globals, and then I add it as a global. I have it enabled, so it's always running no matter what, just in the background. And then under process, which runs every frame as it says right here. So we can delete that because I don't need the little doodad hints and stuff because I kind of know what I'm doing. But yeah, process basically just runs every frame. Uh, so we're getting a if input is put dot is action just pressed, and then by default the escape button is UI cancel. Pretty sure. And so if we hit cancel, then we just get well, get tree dot quit. So now if we run it, I don't know, not yet. Name the node to main. So when it saves it, it saves it as main. And basically, it's just gray right now because it's lame and boring and lame because there's nothing in the actual viewport. Like this is all we see, and so that's what we get. So to see things, I think I'll first add a node. I like using nodes to kind of like organize. It's kind of like tabs in a way, or at least how I use them. So you can have one that's like, this is our background, right? And then you can have another one that's like, well, we're gonna have a progress bar, so I have our progress bar, and then well, not underneath the progress bar, because whatever you click on here, basically, like if I was to have another node, it would automatically create it as a child of that. But we want it to be a child of main. And we'd have another one for like text. So these are kind of our tabs in a sense, but they're not explicitly meant to be tabs. This is how I'm using them here. So under background, I'm going to add a panel because I think that's just the easiest thing to do. And then, I don't know, just scale it up. You just zoom in, line it up properly. That's fine. And because I'm going to like green screen this out for my video, I think I'll make it green. So we can go to theme, override styles, style box, flat, and then go in here, background color. Give it a good green. And yeah, corner. I noticed that as I zoomed in, it had like a corner. Maybe a little bit. I don't know. But that's, I don't know. I don't know what that does. I don't mess around with that very much. I think skew, yeah. That's kind of fun. I don't use that either. But yeah, we have our background panel. We can just name it BG for background. It's green. Oh, but you know what? We should make it blue. Blue screen it because, yeah, I was just thinking, because of our progress bar here. So if we go under progress bar, I'll just make it a sprite so I don't have to deal with the progress stuff. But if we take our texture here, there's a lot of green in this, and there's no blue. So if we're going to green screen it, it would remove all the green, which is not what we want. So make it a blue screen, obviously. That's why they have the different colored screens. And really, when we're talking about like doing stuff digitally, right? When you chroma key something, like if we go into here, and I want to like chroma key something out, don't worry about 3D mining game transition. It's kind of funny. But yeah, if let's just say, you know, I want to chroma key out a color, we can select this, go here. Where is that at? I think it is just in video. Yeah, chroma key. And then yeah, we can chroma key out any color really. You can chroma key that out. And you can change these values. And where the black splotches are over here, that's basically nothingness. That's like empty. Is there transition? Yeah, there is. Oh wow, look at that. So, you know, if I was to, let me just make sure this doesn't break anything. So, if I wanted to show something behind it, like I don't know, green screen explosion one, right? It would show green screen explosion one because you chroma keyed out the color, right? So I mean, you can take any color, right? You can take. We just want this specific shade of whatever, and I don't know. We could tone it down or up or whatever. Yeah, and doing like a color like this is very I don't know. Like it's not really what you want to do. Like usually, I think you can actually pick colors. Like if you just want to pick blue, and then you can have it like be more or less tolerable to the color blue. Yeah, stuff like that. And you know, it's a slider, so you just mess with it. But yeah, get that out of here. In Photoshop, you don't really have chroma keying, but you do have, if we were going to select, you could select color range. So if you're doing it this way, and if you hit the plus on the eyedrop, you can select a bunch of different colors instead of just the single color like you can with the normal one. But yeah, you select everything, every color. And this little button here, it masks it. Oh, it's on the wrong layer. Look at that. Isn't that something? Alright. Let's stop messing around. But yeah, I'm not really, I'm just kind of hanging out. But yeah, let's get back to work on the actual thing instead of just explaining random stuff and going on rants and tangents and whatever. So that's just a spray. We don't need that. So actually, it's called a progress bar. Progress bar. I think we want texture progress bar. And then we can go textures. I can't exactly remember which one's which, but I think under is probably this, and then over is probably that. Or no. I feel like, no, that's supposed to be progress, I think. I don't know. We can mess around with it. Ah, here, the value. You can see it is doing something now. But what it's doing is not exactly, the step needs to be 1. I see. There we go. I was messing with it in the wrong area. So, as you can see, it is going the wrong way. How do we fix that? Well, I actually think I know how to fix that. We go to fill mode, and then we go, probably bottom to top, I think, is what we want. Yeah. So now, we get a nice, smooth effect like that. Has a nice step range. We can make it more or less, But yeah. Now that we have this functionality, we just need to code it, basically, and add text. But yeah, we could also take this. If we want it to be sideways, we could just we can rotate it 90 degrees. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Yeah. Something like that. I think it still works, right? Because it doesn't really matter. Oh, yeah. Because I was imagining it sideways. I guess we could have had the actual texture that I was using, the image, be sideways, and then we could have it go from left to right, like how it was. But well, mine was already vertical because I actually made this for a different project that I'm working on. I might make a video on that at some point, but nah, probably not until it's actually done. So, but now we have this. We can get back to it. We can go into code. We love code. So we're gonna make a new script on main. I usually just put it on main and then connect everything via main. That's how I typically do my coding. So let's just delete all the stuff we don't need. Let's add some space at the top for variables, which we're gonna need. If I'm okay, so I'm holding control right now, and you wanna like pick it up and then hit control. You don't want to do control first, then click it, because I think that does something funky. I don't know. It's done something funky to me before doing it that way. So you just pick it up, then you hit Control, then you plop it down, and then that just gives you this string of code here, which is just referencing over here. So it's taking this, because if you just do this normally, it does this, and you can write a variable yourself, right? A variable for the progress bar. Something like that, and then you just go can you even do this? Can you even do equals? I thought you could before. Yeah, I don't think so. I think it has to be this format up here. I feel like it used to be able to do that though. But like if you're just feeling lazy and you don't really want to do all this, like have a variable reference. Like you could just reference it directly. Like if you wanted to do like just like that, and then you do dot hide. Like this is functionally the exact same. What are we doing here? As this, the texture progress bar dot hide. These two things mean the same thing, because this is just referencing this, and then but this is also just this here. So you could do it either way. I think the second option, doing it I guess this is the first option. The first option is a lot cleaner, and it might have some other benefits too, but I think it's cleaner. You don't have all this greenery here. You just keep all your variables in one place, and you can reference them just with this, instead of having to drag and drop every time. So it's practical. It's functional. It's good. I don't think we really need the onReady. I like to keep ready and process here, even though I don't use them sometimes, just in case I do need to use them, because then I just have to write it out, and it really isn't doing anything if you just have it on pass, because pass just passes. So what we're trying to do here, or at least what I want to do here, and we're gonna need some custom keybinds. So if we go to input map, we can see all of the keybinds that Godot just has on hand. But if you unclick the show built-in actions, you can create your own by adding new action and then giving it a name. So we're gonna call this plus LARP. Why not? Just to be funny. And then we have another one called minus LARP. And we add that too. So, and then it asks you for the key, and I want to make D plus LARP and A minus LARP. So you can hit A and D and just go plus or minus LARP. Good, right? I think that's all we really need here for custom keybinds, that is. And if we go into process, we can do the if input dot is action just pressed plus, oops, we'll do plus LARP first. Do wonder. I haven't messed around texture progress bars in a while, but if I had to guess, we just reference texture progress bar, and then we do progress. Or maybe not progress. What are we looking for here? Value is what we're looking for. So we do value. See, and this is like a really good thing for beginners. Like if you're trying to reference something from your texture, let's just say your texture progress bar as an example, you can just go to your texture progress bar and look at all of these and go, huh, min value, max value, step, blah, 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 value, right? And you can just take this, right? It tells you the property right there, like what this is, step, all of that. And you can just reference that straight on here. Awesome. Like, I feel like a lot of other, I haven't used every single one. I've only used Godot. I've been using Godot since 3 something. I don't remember exactly which version I started on, but I started when it was 3 something, maybe 3.5. I don't know. I can't really remember. Um, but yeah, and right now I'm using 4.3, which it doesn't really mean anything, but it's just the version that I like, so I use it. I think I have 4.5 installed, but I don't. I just like this version more. Nothing really to say other than that. But yeah, it's so intuitive that I think it just lends itself best to beginners, and even people like me who've been using it for years, and you just don't, like, there's just so much here. You don't use it all of the time. Like, you use a lot of things a lot of the time, but these, there's a lot of things that just, like, you don't really use a lot, so you kind of just don't remember. And so, like, you just kind of relearn it instantly because it's just so intuitive here. So you do texture progress bar dot value, and we're gonna go plus equals 1 when we press it, and then we can just kind of duplicate this. That's a good thing about code, right? Like, you can just you can just duplicate it. Oops. So, and then if we press minus larp, we subtract. No, that was correct. We subtract 1. And well, why don't we just see what that does? Obviously, the full screen doesn't work properly. We now know that. And okay, so that does work, but you have to kind of spam it for it to work properly. And I kind of wanted it to like be held down so it would be a smooth sort of action. But if we hit escape, it closes it because we have this here. And you could put this kind of really anywhere, like get tree dot quit. Like, if I was feeling funny, I could just go get tree dot quit, and then, like, if you if you hit this, it just quits it. I don't know. I like code because it's just so expressive. Like, you can do really anything you want with code. Anything. I think everybody should learn code. It's fun. It's fun. You just mess around and make things. If you have an idea, just put it to paper or code it up. But yeah, let's see. I mean, instead of using is action just pressed, I think we could use a different, let's see, is action pressed instead of just pressed. Let's test that. Oh, sorry, forgot the colon. So now, yeah, see, look at that. Perfect. If we just get rid of the just and just do that. Now, go up and down. See, look at that. Perfect. Now we just have to figure out what's going on with the the whole Oh, God. Yeah, I still haven't wrapped my head fully around all of the full screen modes and stuff. So maybe if we turn off resizable, borderless, that doesn't matter. Initial screen, mode, aspect, expand, maybe. Maybe that's what we're looking for. Close it first. No, that is not what we're looking for. It's in here somewhere. Keep. Maybe I did it wrong. Stretch. Okay, stretch is disabled. So, okay, we can stretch the viewport maybe. Yep, perfect. See, look at that. Okay, so now, everything we've done so far, that's been the easy part. Now, let me introduce you to the harder part. And by harder part, I mean it's not that crazy. Also, I just spammed D on the texture priority score value. So, just delete that. So now, how am I going to do this? Okay, I think I got it. So, I knew I wanted text, that's why I made this. But now, if we just get a label, and there's some stuff we have to do to the label. Now, if we just do larp meter, right? And there's some stuff we have to do to this, like I kind of want a cool font. Okay, so maybe you don't know this if you're not like super into like, I don't know, computer like generated graphics or really just like anything to do with fonts, like but there's a ton of websites, and the one I'm on right now where I'm getting the font that I just got for for this site's called 1001fonts.com. For what it's worth, that's what it's called. I just got a font called Redound. I don't know how you pronounce it really. It's kind of a strange name, but yeah, you kind of can just get really any font you want because they kind of just have them. Like, there's tons. There's like, I mean, it says 1001, but there's probably like hundreds of thousands of fonts, and like, I don't know, just like any font you really could even ask for. I just realized the A is capital. So, actually, I want it all caps. We can do that here though, uppercase. But yeah, you can kind of just get whatever font you're looking for on one of these sites. Obviously, be careful because you're downloading something off of a random site, and don't want to download something sketchy. But yeah, you can kind of just get whatever font you're looking for, which is really cool to me. It's something that's I think probably often overlooked in this kind of stuff is fonts. But yeah, we have this extract it. Boom. And now I can just drag and drop folder. Did it just crash? The Godot just crashed. I don't think I've ever had Godot crash on me. Ever. Does it still work? Well, that's good. I haven't. Okay, if this doesn't work this time. Oh no, it's right here. Well, that's super weird. I've actually never had it crash on me. Huh. Well, that's weird. Now we have Redhound. So let's go to text. Oh no, the text isn't there. No, I didn't save it. I guess when the text showed up. So we need a label. We'll save that. Save the recents. That's fine. Whatever. Larp meter. And then theme overrides is where we want to be right now. So we can go to fonts, drag in, I like TTF. Let's put the TTF, and we can boost the size. I like to go into texture and go to nearest, so it doesn't try to interpolate like the pixels. It's just straight up what like it gets all blurry here. I don't really like that, so let's go to nearest. It makes it sharper, you know. We don't need it that much. Something like that, and then why is that not showing up? I have a colon there. Huh, that's weird. It's not showing any of my symbols. Weird. Is that gonna be a problem? Why is it doing that? Does the font not have hold on. Does this font not have any? I guess that isn't like the biggest deal, but that is so annoying. And that means we can't use the hold on. As no, it doesn't even have numbers. What? I've never seen that. You know, I was just saying so much awesome stuff about fonts and how there's like a font for everything. But the font that I got, this is the only time I've ever seen this in my entire life. Doesn't it's like missing? It only has letters. Like it doesn't have numbers. Doesn't have symbols. It has nothing. Wow, that's crazy. I didn't even know. Well, I mean, obviously, like you have to make all the stuff, right? But like, dang. Maybe it's because it's a TTF. Maybe we'll try OTF. I could do that, you know. Pop that in there. They looked exactly the same, but no symbols still. So strange. That's not. I don't think that's a Godot thing. Because there's no like setting for that anywhere. That is so strange. Well, you learn something new every day. I guess like the person that made this just cut some corners. Hey, they're doing it for free, so you can't really blame them, and you shouldn't. But that's just so strange. Well, whatever. We have the text that says LARP meter. I'll keep it white, I guess. Why not? We could give it an outline if we wanted to. I don't know. What do we think? Outline. There we go. How imposing is that? Larp meter. And so this is our label for Larp meter. So I'll call it Larp. Oh, I have caps on. Oops. Why does it look so strange? Larp label, and we need another one. One more, and this is going to be our percentage. There we go. Percentage. So this one, obviously, as the name implies, is going to be our percentage, which we will completely dictate with code what shows up on this. So we will go to texture first, go to nearest, theme overrides. And we're not going to change the font because obviously, I mean, why would we even change the font, You know what? I want to make this larger. Change my mind how I want this laid out. Do something like that. And then we'll have the percentage here. Font sizes, just make it a little larger. Have it there. Something like that. Then we go to colors, outline constants. I think I have it on 12. Outline size 12. I'll make it a bit bigger. There we go. So it looks a little strange right now. I get that. I usually just put the little star. One of those. What is it even called? Is that asterisk? I think maybe. I don't know. Yeah, asterisk. That was right. See, I know. It's just not something I think about every day, so it's kind of like weird. That reminds me of a story. While we set this up, I will I'll tell that story. So, I was at a GameStop. I guess I was buying a game. It was probably one of the Gears of War games that I have in my collection now. 360 game. I've been collecting 360 games just to, boost my physical media collection. And so we were at a GameStop, me and my buddy, and we were getting games. I look pretty young still. I was just thinking about this, like, you aren't the most, like, reliable person to ask if you still look young, because, like, about, like, older people will still look in the mirror and be like, yeah, I don't look that old. But, obviously, because I was asked this question, or maybe it was just, like, something they have to ask everyone, but I bet it's not. I bet it's because I look younger. But, yeah, I'm 20 years old, and, like, I'm 20 years old. Like, yeah, whatever. But, like, so the guy behind the counter, he's checking me out, and he's like, so, how old are you? Because, like, you're buying a mature game. Well, he didn't explain that, but, like, obviously, because I was buying a mature game, he wanted to make sure I was, like, company policy, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So he wanted to make sure I was old enough. So he didn't, like, check or anything, but he asked me, and I kind of smiled, and then told him I was 20. And I smiled because I never think about how old I am, like, ever. Like, it's just not something that I think about, and it's not something, like, anybody ever asks me. So when I get asked how old I am, I smiled, and he was like, "Are you telling the truth? You 20?" He was like, "Yeah, I don't know why I smiled." And so we kind of laughed about it, and he checked me out, and we just laughed. But yeah, that was kind of just like a funny thing that happened. So I realized I wasn't doing anything. I was just talking. So we have our percentage here. We've sort of turned into a variable thing here. That's just the label. Actually, I think I'll even change the name to label, just so we don't get confused. So we have this, right? And there's a little cool thing you can do, and we're gonna do it underneath our process delta, so it happens every frame. Which is, I think we could do this, right? I'm pretty sure we can do this. So we can take our texture progress, right? Well, actually no. We want to do percentage label dot text, right? Text. And so that just kind of gets the text, and we want to set the text equal to something. And what I want to set it equal to, instead of doing some like roundabout way of getting whatever, we can just straight up, I think, don't quote me on this, but I think we can take, actually, I think I have to make it a string. So I'll make it a string, and I always forget the sort of the way to do this properly. I think it's I think it's like this. You do in quotes, you do percentage sign D, I think, and then percent, and then brackets, and then we can do our texture progress bar dot value. Huh? Yeah. Oh, A and D. There we go. Boom. See, look at that. Hey. He remembers. Don't ask me why it's like that, where it's just like this whole string of values. Oh my god. It's because I wasn't tabbed in. I realized it's not tabbing me in, and that's why it does that. Because I was like, oh, the D key isn't working, and then I clicked it, and then it started working because I wasn't tabbed into the full screen. That's kind of messed up that it does that. Why would you do that? I'm proud of myself for getting it on the first try. Because there's another letter you can do that does something else, which actually I think I need that other letter. Actually, hold on. If I do percentage sign D and then I just add another percent, or that's an and, another percent, is that just going to be a percent? No, that just messes it up completely and totally. Space percent maybe. No, that's still messed up. Percentage sign D. What is it? Is it S? Maybe. I feel like it's S. Should I just go with my gut on this, or should I look it up? We're gonna go with our gut on this. So, and then I think I do just comma. Maybe like that. I want no space. Hey, it's real. It's real. He knows what he's doing. He's not a fake. He's not a fraud. But yeah, look at that. I mean, that's basically all I wanted. Like, this is all the functionality that it needs to have. And then I'll just record it, like, filling up a little bit, maybe, like, stuttering. And then just, like, yeah, the LARP meter. Well, I hope you enjoyed. How long have I even been recording? I hope you enjoyed this 50-minute recording session. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit, hopefully, about, coding. I hope you enjoyed your time just listening to me ramble on and on. Like, this could have easily been done in 10 minutes, if that. Like, this could have been done quick. But with my constant yammering and my constant need to explain what's going on for all the people who don't know, because I'm just so generous like that. My constant need to do all those things, I have stretched this recording session to a whopping 49 minutes and 39 seconds. So I hope you enjoy. And, maybe we'll do some more of this in the future. Who knows? But yeah. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.